Giovanni Pernice has been cleared of physical aggression, but was found to have verbally bullied and harassed Amanda Abbington in the results of the BBC's probe into the Strictly Pro dancer. The findings of the long-awaited internal investigation into alleged misconduct by the former Strictly dancer, 33, are today made public. After 6 months of investigating Amanda Abbington's claims, bosses have ruled Mr. Pernice was not physically abusive. However, Amanda's complaints about verbal bullying and harassment were upheld. If you can't see the poll, click here. Out of a total of 16 allegations against Pernice, 6 were upheld, some of which are for Giovanni using swear words. The report said the dancer's language could be belittling towards his partner. The broadcaster launched an internal probe in May after at least 3 celebrities instructed lawyers at Carter Rock over his alleged abuse, which Giovanni vehemently denied. And as the pressure mounted, former Met cops were brought on by BBC bosses to oversee the evidence gathering. As part of the inquiry, officers were said to be reviewing footage of Giovanni's rehearsals with former partner Amanda Abbington, as well as texts and screenshots between the pair. Following the report findings, the BBC has now apologized to former Strictly Come Dancing contestant Amanda Abbington, confirming it had upheld some, but not all, of the complaints made. In a statement, the broadcaster said, "The BBC has now concluded its review into the complaints made by Amanda Abbington against Giovanni Pernice. We take any allegations of bullying and harassment very seriously, and this review has taken time due to its complex nature, and our desire to ensure a rigorous and robust process was undertaken. Strictly Come Dancing is a family show, and we rightly expect very high standards. While competition can be tough, rigorous and demanding, we want the show to ultimately be a joyous and transformative experience. It is a great shame if this hasn't been the case for everyone who has appeared on the show. We have assessed the complaints and we have upheld some, but not all, of the complaints made. We want to apologize to Amanda Abbington and to thank her for coming forward and taking part. We know this would not have been an easy thing to do." Amanda then issued a statement to say the apology meant a lot to her and she hoped no other celebrity would go through the ordeal she had following the investigation. The actress said, "As the BBC has indicated today in its statement, my decision to come forward and complain about Giovanni Pernice's conduct towards me was not an easy thing to do. In the days, weeks and months since I contacted the BBC, I've been accused of being a liar, a troublemaker and of being mad and unstable. I've also received rape and murder threats, and a bomb threat was sent to my place of work. My family and children have also been subjected to threats and intimidation. Despite this vile abuse, I've never regretted coming forward, and today's apology from the BBC is a vindication of my complaint. It's not just a vindication for me, it's a vindication for the other people who have contacted me since I made my complaint to express concerns about their own experiences on Strictly Come Dancing. I hope those who have felt unable to speak out now will be more confident that they will be listened to and believed. The BBC has invited me to meet with senior management, and this is something I will now be considering." She went on, "This apology means a great deal to me. So too does the fact that the BBC have acknowledged the steps that were put in place to support and protect me and past contestants were not enough. What matters most now is that lessons have been learned and that the BBC makes the changes they've promised, to ensure others don't experience the same ordeal that I and others like me did." Giovanni Pernice also gave his verdict on the findings today, saying he was pleased with the outcome. In a written statement, a spokesperson for Giovanni Pernice said, "We are pleased that this 6-month review has not found any evidence of threatening or abusive behavior by Giovanni." Giovanni is relieved that the overwhelming majority of allegations out to the BBC have not been upheld and looks forward to continuing his work on Dancing with the Stars in Italy this season. The BBC also thanked a number of individuals who contribute to the probe, which the corporation said took time due to its complex nature and our desire to ensure a rigorous and robust process was undertaken. Irish TV presenter and former Love Island host Laura Whitmore previously said she spoke to the Strictly Review team, and said she was subjected to inappropriate behavior. She was partnered with Pernice in 2016, and was eliminated 7th that year. Italian dancer Pernice, who has also fronted a travel show with Strictly judge Anton Dubecca for the BBC, won the competition with former EastEnders actress Rose Ayling-Ellis, who was the show's first deaf contestant, in 2021. Sherlock actress Amanda, 50, quit the show last October, citing personal reasons. But she went on to reveal that she had been left suffering mild PTSD after taking part in the BBC show. And in a tearful interview last month, she lifted the lid on her experience, telling how she raised concerns about the dancer's nasty conduct just 3 days into her training. She said, "I've got texts to the producer on day 3 going, 'This is awful, he hates me, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying my best, I promise you.'" She went on to describe Giovanni's conduct as inappropriate, adding, "It was mean, it was nasty, it was bullying. And I put up with it for 5 or 6 weeks. It started very early on. When it started to happen, I would shut down, because I recognized those red flags." Branding the Strictly training room a toxic environment, she went on, "I don't care what background you're from, whether it's dancing, acting, singing, you have a duty of care to bring into that rehearsal room compassion, understanding, sensitivity and kindness, and that wasn't extended to me. And so I just said, I don't think this is right." Amanda's interview on Lorraine came a day after an interview with Channel 4 News host Krishna Gurumurthy, who also took part in last year's series. She said she had been subjected to what Krishnan described as humiliating behavior of a sexual nature, but said it was not sexual harassment. At the time, producers told her they were shocked and horrified after watching rehearsal footage, she said. Are you surprised by the result of the investigation? Vote in our poll here to have your say. Following her interview, Giovanni, who denied allegations he behaved in a threatening or abusive way, said Amanda's allegations on the Channel 4 program did not resemble those he had been made aware of and urged people to await the findings of the BBC's report. But days later, Laura Whitmore, who danced with the Italian in 2016, became the second star to break her silence on the scandal, revealing she had complained to BBC bosses about his inappropriate conduct 8 years ago. In a statement, Laura also confirmed that she was one of 7 individuals who had spoken to the BBC regarding Amanda's complaint. And she added that she had chosen to go public in a strike against victim shaming. Her words came just 1 day before the findings of the BBC report into Giovanni's conduct were due for release on 29 July. But the date was then pushed back, to the disappointment of show bosses who had hoped to reveal it before the announcement of the new Strictly lineup. In July, BBC Director General Tim Davie issued an apology to former contestants who had complained about their treatment. He said was disappointed to hear that several celebrities had complained about how their dance partners treated them in rehearsals. And he added, there will be a degree of competitiveness and will to do well, but there are limits and the line should never be crossed. We never tolerate unacceptable behavior of any kind. Here is a timeline of how events have unfolded. 2023 October 23, actress Amanda Abbington pulls out of Strictly. October 24, Abbington says it is with deepest regret that she has had to leave Strictly for personal reasons that have made her unable to continue. 2024 January 6, The Sun reports that Abbington has demanded footage of her rehearsals with partner Pernice. January 13, Abbington tells The Sun on Sunday that she was diagnosed with mild PTSD after Strictly and received death threats after her stint on the show. March 16, Pernice tells the Mirror's invite-only podcast it is a shame that Abbington left the show early as he feels they could have gone all the way. May 18, Pernice rejects allegations that he displayed abusive or threatening behavior while working as a professional dancer, amid reports that the BBC is looking into complaints about his conduct on the show. May 29, the BBC promises to handle any complaints with care, fairness and sensitivity to all sides, after reports about Pernice's teaching methods. June 10, the BBC confirms Pernice will not return as a professional in 2024. June 16, Pernice says in an Instagram statement that he is cooperating fully with the ongoing BBC investigation, which will determine the truth. June 25, professional dancer Gorka Marquez says it is just sad for everybody when someone leaves the lineup, in the wake of Pernice's exit. July 13, De Prima confirms his departure from the show amid reports of allegations about his conduct with a past participant. July 14, Abbington tells the Sunday Times the show was tough and horrible and that the aftermath has been really brutal and it just hasn't stopped. July 16, Love Island star Zara McDermott responds to reports about her alleged mistreatment on the show and says she has spoken candidly to the BBC. The corporation announces measures to strengthen welfare and support on the show, including a chaperone who will watch dress rehearsals at all times. July 18, De Prima's spokesman says he has been left in a very vulnerable state and he deeply regrets and apologized for an isolated incident at the time. July 22, Paralympian Will Bailey, who was partnered with Jeanette Manrara, says there was no duty of care on the show, and he suffered torn knee ligaments after performing a jump. Manrara's spokeswoman says she has never received any complaints and has maintained friendships with all her partners, including Will. July 23, Director General of the BBC, Tim Davie, apologises to contestants who have had an experience that hasn't been wholly positive, and said the broadcaster will not tolerate unacceptable behaviour of any kind. July 24, Abbington gives her first TV interview about the Strictly controversy, to Channel 4 News, and says she wants to encourage people who feel bullied or are in a situation they feel is toxic and unsafe to complain, despite the backlash she has allegedly received. July 29, Irish TV presenter and former Love Island host Laura Whitmore alleges that she was subjected to inappropriate behaviour. She was partnered with Pernice in 2016, but does name him, and adds that she has spoken to the BBC's investigation team. August, a former member of Strictly's production staff claimed that crew faced shouting, screaming and being insulted. BBC Studios says it does not recognise these anonymous claims, nor will hundreds of production personnel who have worked with us. August 10, De Prima denies he is an abusive man, and says he does not know from where McDermott's allegations had stemmed. He claims he kicked the floor in frustration, and did not mean to hit her. August 13, the full Strictly 2024 lineup is announced, with DIY star Nick Knowles, former England footballer Paul Merson and Olympic hockey gold medalist Sam Quek the final three contestants. August 22, the show will feature Liv signing for the first time, the BBC says. September 7, Pernice says he is joining the Italian equivalent of Dancing with the Stars, which is called Ballando con le Stelle. September 12, Strictly wins the talent show Gong at the National Television Awards, NTAs. September 14, Strictly returns with a 2024 cast of celebrities and professionals and makes no reference to the recent controversy. September 30, the BBC apologises to Abbington, saying it had assessed and upheld some, but not all of the complaints. Follow Mirror Celebs on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Threads.